Amazon's DynamoDB, partition key, primary key, replication, synchronizations. Let's discuss a little bit these aspects. So because DynamoDB provides you with high availability, it needs to make sure that its data is replicated and exists in multiple places. Specifically, DynamoDB synchronizes replicated data across 3 AZs, which are availability zones in a region. Also, the DynamoDB stores 3 geographically distributed replicas of each table to provide high availability. So it's like 3 times 3, 3 availability zones and 3 geographical distributed replicas of each table. You can generally scale up or down the DynamoDB tables that you have. You can ask for additional provision, which we'll discuss a little bit more. And you can make it also dynamically. The actual data is stored on SSD storages. And it has, as we said, multiple AZs, which has multiple availability zones in the region and also cross-region replication option. Basically, when you have data in DynamoDB, you have 3 things, 3 concepts. One, you have tables. Inside tables, you have rows. These rows are called items, and each row is separated into columns, which are attributes. So you have tables, items, and attributes. There is a max size for each item, for each row. It cannot exceed 400 kilobytes, including the keys and all the attributes. If you need to store more data, then you can put just a pointer from your DynamoDB, for example, into S3. DynamoDB, of course, we didn't mention it, is a key value store. It's not a relational database, it's a key value store. It says to provide you with 99.99 availability SLA, and for global tables, it's 5 nines. DynamoDB also has what is named streams, which is a time-ordered sequence of item-level modifications which are stored for 24 hours and usually used with Lambda and Kinesis client libraries. There is also an option to add DAX, which is DynamoDB Accelerator, which is a fully managed in-memory cache for DynamoDB that increases the performance to microseconds latency if you need. DynamoDB stores the data in partitions. The partitions are automatically replicated across availability zones inside a region. You never need to actually manage the partitions. DynamoDB will do that for you. If you want to dial up or down the throughput, then you dial up or down the provisioned throughput settings for your table. Now for a tricky part, the primary keys, because you can have 2 different types of primary key. One is a primary key that is exactly the partition key. So if you have a unique primary key and you want to use it exactly as the partition key, then this would be the partition key. Another option is for the primary key to be a composite key, which is the partition key and the sort key in combination. In this way, multiple items can have the same partition key. And the primary key, which is going to be unique, is going to be the primary key, the partition key, plus the sort key. So all those items with the same partition key would be stored on the same partition, and because they also have a sort key, then you have the ability to get the items sorted. So let's repeat this. We can have 2 types of primary keys. One primary key is exactly the partition key. It's a unique for each row, and also this is used to get hashed into a specific partition. Another type of primary key is a combination, a composition of the partition key and the sort key. So because here we have a combination of partition key and sort key to the primary key, then multiple rows can have the same partition key and they would be stored together. And the way to extract them sorted is with the sort key. So this was a brief overview to DynamoDB, and I especially liked that we discussed this tricky part of primary key and partition key.